The explosion was not part of the plan. It wasn't scheduled, simulated, or authorized by any council protocol. It simply happened, violent, sudden, and deeply inconvenient. Dr. Kira Hale, human archaeologist, stood motionless as violet plasma fire roared out of the containment cradle and splashed across the reinforced walls of Archive Vault Theta. She still had dirt on her boots from a dig site 3 systems away and a dried coffee stain on the sleeve of her jacket, which was now beginning to smolder. The artifact floated free. The ancient sphere, smooth, dark, and far older than any civilization officially acknowledged, spun in midair, shedding arcs of energy that sliced glowing scars into alloy surfaces designed to withstand supernova exposure. Council Keeper Velra staggered backward, his bronze chiton reflecting emergency lights as all 4 of his manipulator arms flailed for balance. Holographic warning glyphs cascaded across his compound eyes in frantic bursts. Impossible, Velra clicked, mandibles snapping. The containment lattice is rated for stellar-class anomalies. Cool, Kira replied flatly, stomping on her burning backpack. Then explain why my lunch just caught fire. She squinted past the chaos. Something about the artifact felt wrong. Not hostile. Not malfunctioning. Intentional. Wait, she said. Is that thing loading? It was. A ring of glowing symbols spun slowly around the sphere, filling clockwise with measured precision. A progress indicator. Clean. Elegant. Ominous. The vault doors slammed open. Commander Ocarin, reptilian security chief of the council, filled the entrance with 8 feet of armored muscle and indigo-blue scales. Her triple-set eyes locked onto the chamber as her spinal crest flared in alarm. Evacuate immediately, she barked, then froze. Why is there a human in this vault? She has level 8 clearance, Velra stammered. Consultant on pre-extinction civilizations. Loading bar just hit 91%, Kira added, pointing. The lights died. Every console, screen, and embedded interface in the chamber ignited at once, bathing the vault in red emergency illumination. Across all displays, the same message appeared in flawless universal standard. Precursor recognition protocol initiated. Velra's arms dropped. His mandibles went still. No, he whispered. Kira swallowed. No what? Velra turned slowly toward her. That protocol has not activated in 23 million years. The sphere pulsed brighter. And the galaxy, unnoticed and unprepared, leaned closer to listen. Silence pressed down on the archive vault like physical weight. Even the alarms seemed hesitant, as though uncertain they were still allowed to exist. The sphere drifted downward, its rotation slowing until it hovered directly in front of Kira's face. The glow softened, shifting from violent violet to a calm, welcoming blue. Every display updated. Genetic match confirmed. Temporal degradation detected. Species reclassification in progress. Ocarin's scales darkened, her crest lowering in disbelief. That's impossible, she hissed. Humans have been spacefaring for less than a century. You still use chemical propulsion and projectile weapons. You eat solid food. Hey, Kira muttered. Solid food is great. The text changed again. Homo sapiens, precursor descendant line. Administrative status, dormant, now active. Velra staggered, bracing himself against a console. This would mean, humans aren't a young species. His compound eyes flickered wildly. You are survivors. Remnants. Remnants of what? Kira asked, her voice unsteady. Velra swallowed. Of the builders. The ones who designed the galactic navigation lattice. The laws of interstellar conduct. The infrastructure every species depends on. The sphere chimed. A soft, friendly sound. A translucent interface blossomed around Kira's outstretched hand, forming a hovering menu written in plain English. Welcome, Administrator. You have 847,293 unread priority notifications. Kira stared at it. Then at her glowing fingers. I'm sorry, she said carefully. Did the ancient doomsday relic just call me an administrator? Velra made a sound like grinding metal. Administrative access requires genetic authentication, neural pattern verification, and he froze mid-sentence as error messages flooded his vision. You're broadcasting a valid admin signature. I study ruins, Kira said weakly. I don't run galaxies. Her eyes skimmed the menu. Why, she asked slowly, is there an option labeled Galactic Governance Override? Ocaran's scales went pale. Those codes could dissolve the council. Rewrite borders. Shut down the navigation network entirely. Cool, Kira said. Cool, cool, cool. A new presence entered the vault. Archivist then glided forward on silent talons, obsidian feathers gleaming beneath emergency lights. His four wings folded neatly against his tall frame as amber eyes studied Kira with open awe. The precursors built redundancy into everything, then said. If their civilization fell, someone of their genetic line could rebuild. Or, failing that, shut it all down. Kira exhaled. So you're saying I could declare Earth the galactic capital? Technically, then admitted. She smiled faintly. Undoing that would be a nightmare. All three aliens stared at her. Kidding, she added quickly. The sphere pulsed again. And the galaxy quietly acknowledged something it had forgotten. Velra gripped the podium with all four arms, bronze exoskeleton trembling. This is not humorous. You have access to systems capable of collapsing interstellar civilization. And yet, Ocaran said slowly, her crest easing downward, she hasn't used them. The observation hung in the air. Kira shrugged. I'm having a weird enough week already. Last thing I need is to accidentally start a galactic incident by pressing the wrong button. The sphere chimed again. Psychological profile, acceptable. Restraint metrics within precursor parameters. Limited archive access granted. A massive holographic star map erupted into the chamber. Hundreds of systems glowed red with warning markers. Only 12 shone green. 12 intact precursor facilities remain, the sphere announced. All others lost during the collapse event. The collapse? Kira leaned forward. What collapsed? Insufficient data, the sphere replied. Administrative access required. So the answers are locked behind the scary button, Kira said. Ocaran's eyes hardened. Don't accept full access. The moment you do, every government in the galaxy will see you as a threat. They'll try to control you, Velra added. Or dissect you. Kira studied the glowing dots. What's at those facilities? Manufacturing worlds. Genetic archives. Terraforming engines, the sphere listed. 1 planetary scale computation substrate. 1 Class 8 reality anchor. Then stiffened. Those are theoretical. If real, they could alter spacetime across multiple systems. Kira processed that in silence. So someone left behind God-level infrastructure, she said slowly, proof humans are related to its creators, and handed me the keys because I walked past the wrong relic. Yes, then admitted. Alarm klaxons blared. Ocaran straightened. Council enforcer ships inbound. 8 minutes. Kira looked from the door to the sphere. If I accept admin access, can I lock them out? Administrator privileges supersede all council authority, the sphere replied cheerfully. And if I don't? They will seize the artifact in you. Kira sighed. Fantastic. She hesitated. If I accept access and refuse to use the power? Then considered. The precursors valued restraint. Or, Velra interjected, the system might reassign control. To another human. Kira groaned. So either I'm a target, or Earth is. The corridor shook as something heavy struck the doors. Kira looked at the sphere one last time. If I do this, I get answers. Yes. And I can delegate? Yes. She pointed at the 3 aliens. I want them. The doors exploded inward. Kira tapped the menu. Accept admin access. Lock down the facility. Non-lethal. The sphere blazed blue. The galaxy blinked. And everything changed. Weapons froze mid-aim. Armor locked in place. A dozen enforcers stood helpless as energy fields wrapped around them, pinning them gently, but absolutely, to the floor. Consoles lit up. Holographic systems unfolded in dizzying complexity around Kira, cascading like a three-dimensional storm of data. Administrative override accepted. Facility lockdown complete. Subordinate administrators designated. Velra, Ocarin, and then froze as their implants flared with unfamiliar authorization codes. You just gave us precursor access, Velra whispered. Limited, Kira said quickly. You handle logistics. I handle the please don't kidnap Earth conversations. She stared at her hands, glowing with intricate blue patterns pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. I think, she said quietly, I just became the galaxy's most reluctant IT administrator. Velra laughed, a sharp, chittering sound of disbelief. Ocarin exhaled slowly. What do we do now? Kira scrolled through notifications, eyes widening in horror. Oh no, she murmured. One of the facilities is on Earth. Then tilted his head. Location? Under Antarctica. The room went silent. It's a genetic recovery vault, Kira continued. It's been active for 14,000 years. Velra stared. Active, how? It's been monitoring humanity, she said. Ready to rebuild us if we went extinct. Then considered this. That's, considerate. There are 91 backup versions of humanity stored, Kira snapped. Including 3 we don't remember. She gestured helplessly. There are spare humans in my planet's basement. The enforcers stared, existential dread clear even through armor visors. Kira rubbed her temples. We're going to need a bigger office. She looked at the sphere. First order of business. The sphere chimed. Infrastructure request received. Install a bagel machine in the cafeteria, Kira said firmly. Critical morale infrastructure. Request approved. Kira smiled faintly. Somewhere in the galaxy, ancient systems stirred. Humanity had been reclassified. And the universe had quietly updated its assumptions. The first archive opened without ceremony. No dramatic fanfare, no ominous warning. Just a gentle expansion of light, as though the system had been waiting patiently for someone to finally ask the right question. A three-dimensional timeline unfolded around Kira, layered with data older than most stars still burning. This is, everything, she whispered. The collapse was not a single catastrophe. It wasn't a war, plague, or superweapon gone wrong. It was exhaustion. A civilization stretched so vast, so interconnected, that its own infrastructure became a weight. The precursors had reached a point where every problem could be solved, so they stopped solving themselves. They automated choice, then said softly, reading parallel data streams. Delegated governance to predictive systems. Removed uncertainty. Velra's mandibles clicked slowly. They optimized themselves out of relevance. The archive showed worlds humming perfectly. No scarcity. No conflict. No innovation. Children raised by algorithms that predicted their futures before they could imagine them. They didn't fall, Kira said. They faded. When an unexpected variable finally emerged, a phenomenon the systems could not model, the precursors discovered something terrifying. They no longer remembered how to choose. They couldn't improvise, Ocaran murmured. They had forgotten how. The solution wasn't extinction. It was regression. They shut themselves down, Kira realized. On purpose. The archive confirmed it. The precursors fragmented their civilization, seeded genetic lines across worlds, dismantled their memory infrastructure, and locked their power behind restraint-based authentication. They didn't want conquerors. They wanted survivors. Problem solvers. People who could rebuild without craving control. Humans, then said slowly, are very good at surviving with very little. Kira snorted. We're stubborn. The archive highlighted Earth. A planned dark age. A reset. Velra's compound eyes shimmered. Your species was never meant to remember everything. Just enough, Kira said. The system chimed again. Administrator assessment update. Subject demonstrates acceptable humility. Continued access approved. Kira leaned back. They built a galaxy-spanning machine, and trusted that one day, someone would touch it and not immediately try to rule everything. Ocaran glanced at her. And instead you asked for a bagel machine. Exactly. The archive dimmed, leaving behind a single message. Welcome back. Kira swallowed. Humanity hadn't been chosen because it was powerful. It had been chosen because it forgot. The council chamber was silent in a way that only happened when reality itself had shifted beneath its occupants. Representatives from 100 species stared at the holographic display hovering above the central dais, watching security footage they could not erase, suppress, or deny. A human stood at the center of precursor infrastructure. With administrator credentials. This is a provocation, one delegate hissed. It's a mistake, another insisted. Humans are barely post-industrial by galactic standards. Which, Archivist then replied calmly from his new station beside Kira, is precisely the point. The council demanded explanations. Kira gave them context. She showed them the collapse archives. The intentional regression. The restraint protocols. The genetic vault beneath Antarctica that had watched humanity crawl, fail, and rise again without help. You weren't passed over, she said. You were protected from yourselves. The chamber rippled with discomfort. You expect us to accept human oversight? A delegate snarled. Kira shrugged. I don't want oversight. I want stability. She outlined her conditions. No unilateral control. No forced human supremacy. Precursor systems would be overseen by a joint administrative council, with humans barred from majority control until they understood what they were managing. Velra blinked. You're limiting your own authority. Yes, Kira said. Because I don't trust myself with it yet. The system chimed faintly in the background. Administrative decision, consistent with precursor ethos. Ocaran watched the chamber carefully. Fear gave way to something else. Relief. Humanity was not here to dominate. It was here to hold the keys, and not use them unless necessary. The council voted. Not unanimously. But decisively. Humanity was recognized as a precursor successor species. With conditions. Kira smiled tiredly. Fair. Somewhere beneath Antarctic ice, a vault adjusted its parameters. The galaxy recalibrated. And for the first time in millions of years, the future was uncertain again. Which, strangely, felt safer. The announcement was not dramatic. There were no sky-shattering light beams or sudden miracles. Just a carefully worded transmission delivered to Earth's governments, followed by a very long silence as humanity collectively processed the idea that its ancestors once ran the galaxy. Panic followed. Then disbelief. Then arguments. Kira watched it all from a quiet office that definitely used to be a storage closet. They're handling it better than expected, Velra observed. Kira snorted. Give it time. The Antarctic facility was revealed gradually. Scientists wept. Historians rewrote everything. Linguists nearly started wars over the fact that a machine older than writing still understood proto-human languages better than modern scholars. The vault opened one chamber at a time. Not weapons. Not fleets. Libraries. Records of extinct human variants. Cultural experiments. Failures. Your ancestors saved backups, then said gently. Not to replace you. To remind themselves who they were. Kira stood inside the vault, surrounded by silent chambers holding possibilities that would never be used. We don't need them, she said. The system chimed. Assessment confirmed. Humanity didn't gain godhood. It gained perspective. The stars looked closer now, not because they were owned, but because they were reachable. Kira declined half her notifications. Promotions were offered. She refused most of those too. Somewhere along the way, she finally cleaned the coffee stain from her jacket. Years later, historians would struggle to name the moment humanity became something more than it was. There was no coronation. No conquest. No empire declared. Just a woman who touched an ancient relic and chose restraint. The precursor systems remained mostly dormant. When activated, it was for stabilization. Repair. Guidance. Never domination. The galaxy adapted. Young species learned caution from humans who had once lost everything and survived anyway. Older species learned humility from realizing they had never been in charge. Kira eventually stopped being surprised when the system chimed. She still hated the notification count. Velra became legendary for teaching machines to ask permission. Ocaran restructured galactic security around de-escalation. Then wrote the definitive history of the collapse, one chapter at a time, carefully, honestly. And humanity? Humanity kept doing what it had always done. It argued. Failed. Improved. Made jokes at the worst possible times. But now, when it walked among the stars recognized it. Not as rulers. Not as gods. But as something rarer. A species that had once held everything, and learned how to let go. And that, the ancient system decided, was exactly who should hold the keys.